Here comes Ellen from 7730. Comes Dr. Raju, Kathleen Falvey. All right, I've got 5 minutes after 5. You want to kick this thing off?
Sure.
Right on. Be right back.
Wonder what happens if we would have said no. What would he have done?
VK Raju joining. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Jeff, are you standing on your head?
It is a running joke with all my Zoom meetings. I have a docking station at work, which unfortunately puts my camera upside down. So what I tell everyone is I'm actually standing on my head for you, or I'm calling in from the South Pole.
I like both of those. I was just wondering if it was just me, or maybe I thought maybe I had, been up too long or something. I don't know.
I'm always confusing. I try to keep everybody on their toes.
You did it.
This is VK Raju from Morgantown, West Virginia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did that play all right for everybody? Did the bandwidth cooperate at all?
Yes. Fine.
Yes.
Fabulous, fabulous. Oh, I'm 1 for 1 so far. Everyone, welcome. This is our inaugural District 7545 Rotary Foundation Virtual Donor Recognition. I want to thank all of you for making the time in your hectic schedules to be part of what I hope will prove to be a fantastic event. We plan to recognize many people who have made their commitment to the Rotary Foundation, and hopefully in the meantime as well, show everyone else how important those efforts are. I would, before we get started with the official parts of the program, like to recognize a few dignitaries that are in the room. In addition to those who are going to present, and I'll introduce them when their turn comes along. I would like to have everybody recognize, I saw Chuck Arneson a minute ago, who is our Zone EMGA. Chuck, are you there? If you would, at least wave.
Yeah, I'm here.
There you are. I see you. There you are. Welcome, Chuck. Who else? There's all kinds of people we need to recognize. We have many past district governors among us. I appreciate them all being here, including our immediate past district governor, Sherry Messinger, who's there in the center between her two confidants. We've got several of the AGs from this district. I thank them for being here. Who else came in? I did. I promised I wouldn't say this, but I'm gonna lie a little bit already and say thank you to my fellow Flamingos who've made it in. I appreciate Jeff DeCivio continuing to be upside down. Is there anyone I have missed? If I have offended anyone, I apologize. If I haven't, just give me time and I will do my best to offend you before the evening's over. When I first became a Rotarian in 2008, I obviously knew very little bit about Rotary other than the symbol for Rotary International was on my hat when I played Little League Baseball. But even after learning about Rotary, it seemed that the part that I still knew the least about was the Rotary Foundation. Then I began to notice that I wasn't the only person around that had limited knowledge about the Rotary Foundation. And that so what I started to do was immerse myself in a self-guided learning process about the foundation. And that, along with all the training I have since received in preparation of becoming your district governor and talking with Rotary leaders around the world, I now have what I hope is a much better understanding and appreciation for the Rotary Foundation. So tonight, in part, is designed to accomplish that same goal for those who continue to find themselves where I used to be. So with that said, I'd like to get us started by sharing something that has been provided to me recently.
To Rotarians from around the world.
And of course, that's the wrong one. My apologies. Bear with me. Where is it? Oh. Let me minimize. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. It's not there.
Well, Sean, that means you have to start singing. Keep us entertained.
On the hills of West Virginia. There are other people that sing much better than I do on this call. Let's do it this way.
John, the video's not showing, it's just your screen.
Really?
Yep.
Well,
Click, 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 click again.
all right. Is it still raining anywhere else? I'd love to blame this on the weather, but this is technology ineptitude. I assure you, that's all this is.
Don't worry about it. Just keep moving.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
Everything's hunky-dory. Everything's
It's all
fine.
right. Yep. Just skip it.
Never let a computer know that you're in a hurry.
That's a fact. Share screen. Can somebody tell me what they're seeing out there?
We're seeing your screen, just a white screen.
Okay. Well, in the spirit of trying to be timely, I'll skip that first video and do my best to set up the second one. So there is someone at this point I would like to introduce. I spent some time with her recently in a less than formal scenario, at which time I asked her to send me her bio. She was a little reluctant in doing that. I said, well, you better make sure that you send it to me, because if you don't, I will make one up. And so she actually agreed to do that. So this first part of the bio is the part that I have contributed, and you'll be able to tell when we get to the part that she provided me. She was actually born in 1974 as the second of 26 children to nomadic independent lion tamers. Primarily while honing her craft in Tijuana, Mexico, she became fluent in the Spanish language, which later led to her very successful and lucrative career as a submarine welder. After growing bored of being under the water, she came ashore and found this little something we affectionately call Rotary International. She is currently on the RI Board of Directors and serves as the chair of its executive committee for 2020-21. She is a member of the Rotary Club of McMurray, Pennsylvania, has served as a Rotary Foundation trustee, chair of the Rotary Strategic Planning and Rotary Foundation Centennial Celebration Committees. Wow, this is a long list. The Atlanta RI Convention Committee, the RLTI moderator, an international training leader, a regional foundation coordinator, a president's representative, district governor, district delegate to 2 councils on legislation, and as a member of various RI committees and in many club and district foundation roles, as if that list was not long enough. Her professional background is in higher education, consulting, and entertainment industries. She received her doctorate degree in leadership studies from Indiana University of Pennsylvania, has been recognized and awarded by the Rotary Foundation and numerous community and international organizations. She has a certain soft place in her heart for Kosovo and surrounding areas. She's participated in a variety of NID events in India and Nigeria. She's helped build an elementary school in Vietnam, water filter installation in the Dominican Republic. She has mentored new Rotarians in the Ukraine, securing mammography equipment and a biopsy unit for a hospital in Poland was a district-wide Rotary Foundation matching grant that Stephanie coordinated with the Rotary Club there. In its commemorative book, they noted her as one of the agents helping the rebirth of Rotary in post-communist Poland. She is helping to partner clubs and districts in the United States with Rotary clubs in Kosovo and Albania for humanitarian and educational services. With all that said, I am very proud to present to you my friend and all of our Rotary International Zones 33 and 34 Director, the very Honorable Dr. Stephanie Yurchik. Stephanie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Governor Sean. I appreciate the introduction. It's really wild when the intro is longer than the amount of time you've given me to speak, but that's okay. That's okay. So tonight, you know, we're celebrating a very special event. We're celebrating people who have become new donors to the Rotary Foundation, as well as those of us who are existing donors. You know, Rotary has 2 distinct parts. It has Rotary International, which is the administrative arm of what we do, and it has the Rotary Foundation, which is the branch of Rotary that lets us do magic. It's what allows us to do good around the world. So I wanted to share with you just some thoughts about why we do that. Why do we, when we're asked to contribute to the Rotary Foundation, why is it that we as Rotarians say, yes, that's something I want to do? In most cases, Rotarians don't have an opportunity to see the Rotary Foundation in action. Some of us have. And when we do, I think it's incumbent upon us to have the ability to share some of those stories to help people understand why it is that we want to support the wonderful work of the foundation. So I just wanted to share a couple of stories with you today to help you see what you help to do when you contribute to the Rotary Foundation. Now, Sean mentioned that, I've been able to participate in a couple of national immunization days, and one of them occurred in India. I've already lost my bindi. Let's try it again. And that was in January of the year 2000. And when I was in India on that day, 125 million children were immunized against polio in one day, in one Sunday. Why did that happen? Well, it happened because every Rotarian, every medical worker, every civil servant got out of their chairs and went out into the streets. And I know Nancy Barbie has been to many of these, and she can confirm that the reason it is so impressive is because everybody takes it so seriously. So on that day, I was there with a group of other people from Western Pennsylvania, and we kept moving from spot to spot to spot, and eventually we ended up in a location that was in a slum area. And so when we got there, the health workers weren't quite ready. They weren't set up. So we stood off to the side and waited. And as we were waiting, I noticed a little girl who was looking at me, and she was short, little tiny 5-year-old girl, the dark hair and the big dark eyes, and she kept staring at me. And if I moved to the right, she kept staring. If I moved to the left, she kept staring. Eventually the line opened and she ends up right in front of me. And I want to show you a picture of this little girl. I hope you can see it. I apologize for the glare, but I took that photo of her. So as she was standing in the line waiting to get the polio drops, I noticed she was shaking violently. So I said to the woman standing with her, could have been her sister, maybe her mother, I said, "Is your child okay?" And she smiled and she nodded and she said, "Oh, miss, she's fine. She just has never seen white skin and yellow hair. You're the boogie woman." So despite being the boogie woman, that little girl did let me put the drops in, and today she's 28 or 29 years old, and she's walking around the streets of Mumbai because of what you and I have done to help with the eradication of polio. Sean also mentioned that I had an opportunity to be in Poland. This is going to be a vision of loveliness. This is my Baba's babushka, okay, my grandmother. Baba is the word for grandmother in Ukrainian. And she gave it to me right before she passed away. It was her favorite babushka. And she also would talk frequently about the family that we had in Eastern Europe. So as I was preparing to become district governor years ago, I found something somewhere, an article, a news feature, something that talked about a hospital in Southeast Poland that didn't have any mammography equipment. And I thought, good grief, that's ridiculous. I mean, in this day and age, and we did some research. And at that time, in the United States, the survival rate from breast cancer was greater than 75%. And in that part of Poland, the survival rate was less than 50%. Now, it wasn't because they had more cases of cancer, it was because they didn't have early detection. And I thought, well, goodness, this is something that every Rotarian can help with, because every Rotarian has a special woman or women in their lives, a mother, a sister, a wife, a daughter, or somebody. So every club in the district decided that that was a worthwhile project. And with the help of the Rotary Foundation, all the clubs did some fundraising. I wasn't going to tell you this, but I'll tell you about my favorite club was the club in my district that did a bowl-a-thon to raise money for this mammography project. And they called it Bowling for Boobs, sorry. But it was so incredibly funny, and it raised a lot of money. So with the help of the Rotary Foundation, we were able to get a matching grant and get the biopsy unit and actually helped install the equipment. And we took a friendship team to the dedication. So the Rotary Club of Krakow for 7 years kept communicating with us and would tell us how many mammograms were done each year. And we all totaled it up, and it appears that in that 7-year period, we did more than 5,000 mammograms. So think about it. Because you contribute to the Rotary Foundation and you helped us get that equipment into Krakow, we're saving lives of Polish women that we probably are never going to meet. But the magic of Rotary doesn't just happen around the globe. It also happens in our backyard. Our local Rotary Club years ago decided to do a little project with our food bank. And the project was called Fresh Express. And so what we did was use some foundation money and help support getting a refrigerated truck for the food bank so that it could go around the community and get food that had already hit an expiration date. But you know, quit laughing, Terry. You know that if a loaf of bread has a certain date, it's probably still got a day or two that you can still use it. So we collected all the food and we notified people who were eligible in the county to come to the food bank and bring a bushel basket, and then we would distribute the food that was collected. So on the day that I worked, it was raining, really raining. So most of the interactors and the club members were sitting in the truck, but I had a great big golf umbrella. So I stood at my table and I noticed a taxi pull up, and out pops this little woman, and she had a little rain hat on and she had 2 Walmart bags. So she registered and she came in front of me. And I said, you know, I welcomed her and said, good morning. I said, you know what, ma'am, let me get you something that's a little better than those bags. So I got a box from the back. It was wax covered. It was a little wet, but it was better than her little Walmart bags. So we put the box on the table and we moved, and I would put in all the things that were on my table. So that day she got a bag of apples, and she got green peppers, and she got hot dogs, and she got deer meat, and she got potatoes, I think. And when we got to the very end, she looked up at me and she said, thank you, honey. I won't have to eat popcorn for supper tonight. So that's why we do what we do when we donate to the Rotary Foundation, so that we can help people that we don't know. In most cases, we'll never meet them. Sometimes they're in our own communities, and sometimes they're halfway around the world. But that's the beauty of the Rotary Foundation. It knows no color, no age, no culture, no language, no restriction. It simply looks at where can we give some help to people who need us. So I thank you all for stepping up and making this really, really significant move in your Rotary career to become donors to the Rotary Foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. When Terry and I were working on putting this together, and we were trying to choose somebody to open up the event for us, it was unanimous between the two of us that we certainly wanted you to speak and share with all of us your passion about the foundation and where it comes from. Little did we know that we were going to get all those visual aids, so I kind of feel like that was an added bonus. I appreciate it.
Hey, and you only gave me 10 minutes. You should see the longer presentation. I've got so many hats you can't believe.
Well, yeah, I am a little disappointed we didn't hear more about your line taming days, but you know, we can save that for the next event that we do. And I'm also proud to report that while Stephanie was speaking, I got onto YouTube and learned all there is to know about facilitating a Zoom call. So at this point, I would like to hopefully successfully share with you another video before we introduce our next presenter.
To Rotarians from around the world, thank you for inspiring us and helping make incredible progress against polio. So many of you have been part of fundraising and vaccination efforts and called on your leaders to stay vigilant against this virus. Because of that, we're now on the verge of eradicating a human disease for the second time in history. But the final steps to a polio-free world are the hardest, so we need your help to get there, so no child will ever have to suffer from polio in the future. The Gates Foundation's long-standing partnership with Rotary has been vital to fighting polio. We need to keep that up. We're extending the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's 2-to-1 funding match with Rotary to help raise $150 million a year to protect children from polio. Together, we can make history. Together, we will end polio.
Hopefully I was more successful that time in providing that video from our friend Bill Gates. I'm getting thumbs up. I think those are all thumbs. I appreciate that, folks. But to continue on with the message that he just brought to us is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. And I warn you, her bio is longer than Stephanie's was, even without the parts that I added to it. But this young lady is a member of the Rotary Club of Maysville, North Carolina, and has served as district governor in District 7730, 2009, 2010. She has served her club, the district, and the zone in many capacities. Her club service as a president, international service chair, youth service chair, secretary, foundation advocate, and membership advocate. At the district level, she served as her district's Rotary Foundation chair, annual program fund chair, a district trainer, a GSE chair, international service chair, and currently serves as her club's group in her district as the global grants chair. She was instrumental in gaining partnerships from 2 districts in India to provide $80,000 to feed hungry children in District 7730. She has also helped clubs in many other districts partner with host clubs in countries around the world. She has served on the leadership team since before her year as governor. She's been a PETS discussion leader for the past 12 years. She served as GSE team leader to District 3250 in India in 2008. She has served as an RI president's representative both domestically and international, spoken at many district events throughout the United States, and has been a guest at the Literacy Foundation Water and Sanitation Summits in India. She has spoken in 15 districts in Zone 33 and many others in Zone 34. In 2010, she led her first team of Rotarians to India for National Immunization Days for Polio Eradication, has continued to lead teams every year since that time. In 2014, she spoke at the Polio Conclave in Delhi during the celebration of the Southeast Asia region being certified polio-free by the World Health Organization. What a coincidence. I think she may have a similar message to deliver to us this evening. On the zone level, she has served on 5 zone institutes for zones 33, 34. She has served as registration chair for 2 years, program chair, a guest leadership training seminar chair, and overall executive chair. She has served as a trainer at International Assembly in San Diego during 2014 to 2016. She was a College of Legislation representative for the 2013 Council, Assistant Rotary Coordinator, Assistant Rotary Regional Foundation Coordinator. Wow. Served as chair of the Zone 33 Peace Symposium in Chapel Hill for 2 years, served as ARRFC for 3, and then beginning in July the 1st of 2018, she began her service as our Rotary Regional Foundation Coordinator here in Zone 33. She is the recipient of the Service Above Self Award, Citation for Meritorious Service Award, Distinguished Service Award, and International Service Award for a Polio-Free World. She is a Paul Harris Society charter member, benefactor, Bequest Society member, and major donor, all of the Rotary Foundation. Her background is in education. She has a bachelor's degree in early childhood ed, master's in library science from East Carolina University. She retired in 2007 from the state of North Carolina after teaching for 30 years. Has been an educational consultant in the area of technology and literacy for schools domestically and internationally, and continues to substitute in local schools and all that free time she has, despite that long list of accomplishments. Nancy has 3 sons, 1 granddaughter, and for that reason and many others, of course, enjoys spending time with her family. She likes to travel, read, technology. I should have had her be the webmaster tonight. She loves to teach, and of course, anything Rotary. Her mantra is, "It is an honor to be involved with so many wonderful leaders around the world with an organization that makes such an impact on humanity. Rotary has given me so much more than I have given. I am so blessed." And we are blessed to have her with us tonight. With no further ado, please let me pass the floor to our Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator for Zone 33, the illustrious Nancy Barbie. Nancy, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sean. I'm good. I need to shorten that thing, I believe.
Hey, you sent it to me. Sorry.
I know. I told you to shorten it, but it's okay. Thank you for that very generous introduction. And thanks for saying young lady. I appreciate that too. I did have a PowerPoint, but if you don't have it up there, that's no problem too. But I'm here to talk to you about polio, and polio is our top priority, our #1 priority for the Rotary Foundation. In 1979, volunteers administered drops of oral polio vaccine to children in the Philippines. And then our president, James Bomar, launched the first Health, Hunger, and Humanitarian, or 3H grant. Along with the health minister, a multi-year project to immunize 6 million children in the Philippines was launched. And because they had such success, it led Rotary to make polio eradication a top priority. And it is the #1 priority for the Rotary Foundation. Rotary launched Polio Plus in 1985, and in 1988, Rotary founded the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. And as Stephanie mentioned and Sean mentioned, personally, I've seen the devastation this disease causes. Leading groups on NIDs for the past 10, 12 years confirmed my conviction to give others that knowledge that they needed to bring our message back home. And we need to spread that message far and wide, not just to Rotarians, but to our communities as well. And the message is this, that polio is not curable, but it is preventable if only we reach every child with the polio vaccine. And that is the key. We have to reach every child with the polio vaccine. As long as polio is in the world, all children are at risk, and we are so close. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor tonight to announce to you, if you've not heard it already, that the whole continent of Africa has now been taken off the endemic list and been certified by the World Health Organization as polio-free. So let's give them a round of applause.
Yay.
You are a part of history, and it's because of you that this has happened. This is just amazing to me. So that leaves us with 2 endemic countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan. It's because of you, there again, that we are this close, and we need your help to continue the fight. So on October the 24th, let's join hands. That is the World Polio Day. We need to educate our communities. There's so many people in our communities that have no idea that polio is still in the world. So we need to make sure that they do know that, and that it is our top priority, and that Rotary has played a major role in eradicating this terrible, dreaded disease. If everyone in your club, your district, and community made a donation, wonder how much closer we would be to reaching our goals. You know, there's a lot of ways that we can do things to advertise and to do the public image that we need for out in our communities. And there's some ideas that I've talked to other people about and found out about through just watching their events, going to some of their events. So since we're in this virtual world, we can still do some fundraising. So here's some ideas. There's something called the world's greatest meal that costs you nothing. Have a virtual meal and use the cost of your meal or even a cup of coffee for a donation. Better yet, invite potential members and then have a polio speaker and enjoy a meal together, but make sure you ask for their contributions. There's polio pins on one of the other slides. There are polio pins that a district in Delaware has just developed, and they're selling those polio pins for a donation to the Rotary Foundation for polio. Non-Rotarians and Rotarians can make contributions to polio. So you are the ones that decide how much that happens. There's also polio pins that are available called Polio Plus Society. It works about the same way as Paul Harris Society. A commitment to make $100 or more throughout the years until we completely are eradicated polio in the other endemic countries would gain you a pin in the entry into the Polio Plus Society. How about having a virtual In Polio Now pool? Some people have done this for Paul Harris Fellows, so why not do it for polio as well? Have a board, a virtual board with 50 numbers on them and sell each square for $20, or have 100 squares and sell them for 10. Put all the names on the board, have a drawing, and whoever wins becomes a Paul Harris Fellow. Have a polio rally or a golf tournament or fishing tournament. How about a bike ride? We can still social distance on a bike. Just make sure that the person in front of you stays far enough ahead of you. And in my case, it wouldn't take much to do that. So you could have a walkathon. And there again, you can have a social distancing experience there too. These are only a few of the ideas. But please, as I said earlier, include your communities. Get the word out there. Make sure that people know that polio is still in the world and we are not safe until it's completely eradicated. Finally, connect with the In Polio Now sites on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and better yet, put those links on your social media too, on your clubs, on your personal social media, and on your district. But the most important thing, and something that I want to say to you tonight, is thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the children of the world, your children, your grandchildren, and beyond that. Folks, this is our legacy. And together we will eradicate polio. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you, Sean.
Nancy, thank you as well. I know that you've got a busy schedule, and I believe you have somewhere else to be here very shortly. You're welcome to stay with us as long as you'd like, and feel free to duck out as you need to. At this point, I think what we are going to be doing is we're going to move into the next portion of our evening where we recognize those in our district and the accomplishments they have made in support of the Rotary Foundation. So to do that, I would like to introduce our next presenter. She's really too humble. She's already, I'll tell a secret, and said that I need to shorten her bio in the spirit of time, and that would be not fair. But I will do my best to at least get through some of the most important parts. This young lady is a major gifts officer for the Rotary Foundation in Zone 33. She has over 15 years experience in the nonprofit sector, working for a variety of nonprofits. She earned a master's degree in nonprofit management from Regis University and the Certified Fundraising Executive Certification. Prior to joining the foundation, she worked for the Girl Scouts Nation's Capital, the largest Girl Scout council in the United States, where she was a key member of their major gifts team, which in addition to securing major gifts for them, she chaired their planned giving outreach committee, which worked closely with volunteers to identify and cultivate potential planned gifts from their peer members, created major donor recognition events, and training for their board members on fundraising. She was a Jazzercise franchise owner for over 13 years. See, Stephanie, I could have said that about you, but I said it about Laurie instead. She's operated multiple locations in that, both in the United States and abroad. She has a genuine love of fitness, especially teaching youth the benefits of exercise and healthy eating. Laurie's Rotary Foundation area of responsibility includes the 5 districts, which cover Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Delaware, and part of Tennessee. She is fortunate to be able to work from her home office in Alexandria, Virginia. However, she does travel throughout the area to meet individually with donors, and she has already shared with us much of her time in the past couple of years in doing that right here within our own district. She is a Rotarian in the West Springfield, Virginia Club. She loves to participate when she can in local projects. She and her husband, Ralph, also a Rotarian, who I hope some of you are fortunate enough to know, have lived in the DMV, as she calls it, for the last 4 years, and are getting to enjoy getting to know everyone after spending 13 years overseas. With that said, please let me pass the mic to our illustrious MGO, Laurie Menzel. Laurie, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited to be with you all this evening. Thank you all for being with everyone today to celebrate. It really is an honor to be with you as we recognize all of our wonderful Rotary Foundation donors. Your generosity enables Rotarians to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through the improvement of health, the support of education, and the alleviation of poverty. Every gift is important, and we are very grateful for each and every Rotarian. This slide show, and I think that Sean is going to put up some slides for me, if I ask really nice. Okay, well, I'll keep going. Hopefully he'll put those up for us. So anyway, there was going to be a slide that showed you the current bequest society members and major donors in the district. And this afternoon, I'm very excited to be with you as to grow that list of major donors and bequest society members. So we're going to get started. Oh, here comes our slides. All right. So you can see there are the wonderful donors in the district of your major donors, your bequest society members, and your Paul Harris Society members. All right, next slide. So we're going to start with major donor, level 1. And so when I call your name, if you would like to share a brief response of why you have chosen to support the Rotary Foundation, please unmute yourself at that time. The Rotary Foundation recognizes individuals or couples whose combined giving has reached $10,000, regardless of the gift designation. This recognition is achieved through personal contributions. Past District Governor Terry Mathias.
Well, I consider it a privilege to support the Rotary Foundation, and there's a lot of reasons I give, and I'm just going to share 3 of them briefly with you this evening. Firstly, I went to my first Rotary Club as a guest of Don Broyles, and the presentation that day was a presentation about the Rotary Foundation by Vinny Kudva, those of you who may remember him, and that's what made me a Rotarian. So even initially coming in, I joined because of the work of the Rotary Foundation. As I was training to be governor, I learned a lot more about the Rotary Foundation and decided at that time to become a Paul Harris Society member, giving $85 a month to contribute to the Rotary Foundation. And then thirdly, as Stephanie's already shared, I was able to go on an NID trip with Nancy in January of 2018 and saw firsthand all that the Rotary Foundation does. Went to see a lot of projects that were sponsored by the Rotary Foundation, and it was just great to see the wonderful things that are done in the world. So those are some of the reasons that I give.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Terry. Immediate past District Governor Sherry Messenger.
For me, I was looking for a club or an organization that I could join that would do something really wonderful in our community. I felt like there was a huge need for that. And as I joined the club and started going to district trainings, I realized that the foundation was an amazing organization, that they operated off of 2 cents per dollar. And all the money that we give is then split 50-50, and it goes out into the world 50% and comes back to us in our own community. So we really get to do good in our community with our foundation as well as the rest of the world. And I've been fortunate enough to do an NID, and I also was a group study exchange in South Korea. And there's so many things that Rotary International offers through our foundation. So that's why I became a donor.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sherry. Robert Morris. Robert Morris, are you on the call with us?
I let him in the room, Lori. I don't.
How about that?
There you are.
Yay, all right.
Okay,
Wonderful.
we'll start over. First of all, we appreciate the recognition that you and the Rotary Foundation have given us. It makes us feel good about ourselves. We're just common people who come from humble and modest backgrounds. We worked hard all of our lives and appreciate the many blessings the Lord has given us. In our minds, those blessings come with an obligation to give something back, or even pay a little forward to help others less fortunate than ourselves. I can't remember just why I joined Rotary. I guess the right man invited me. I appreciate him and hope he's happy he did invite us to join. As it turns out, Rotary was very good for us. It was a social outlet for us, which meant that I look forward to attending the weekly meetings and other events sponsored. You need to know something about Bridgeport Rotary to fully understand that. With that, I learned more of what Rotary and the Rotary Foundation do and stand for. I guess we like that. I keep saying we because in Bridgeport Rotary, the spouses are an important and welcome part of the Rotary family. I'm no longer a member of Rotary, but there's a part of Rotary in us that just won't leave. We appreciate the friendships and the work that Rotary and the Foundation do in this crazy world of ours. We like having a little part in that. And I said, we're just common people who find enjoyment and pride in helping do uncommon things. As I said to District Governor Sean and some of our friends in Bridgeport Rotary, just because I'm not in Rotary doesn't mean that I don't remember and care about it. Why do we support the Rotary Foundation? I guess it mostly boils down to that feels good thing. Thank you for including us in this event, and that's all the recognition that we need.
Thank you very much, Robert. We really appreciate it. Past District Governor John Powell.
Yes, good afternoon, evening to all. I give to the Rotary Foundation to do good in the world. In 2016, when our district experienced 500-year flooding, we were blessed with financial help from all across this country as we worked to rebuild. Through the Rotary Foundation, I can help drill wells to bring clean drinking water to villages in Ghana, and fight malaria with mosquito netting in Venezuela, or I can fund projects to further peace in the Middle East. Closer to home, we can feed children on the weekends with backpacks of food or provide much needed help to local food banks. I began donating through Rotary Direct to be a role model, to walk the walk. And now I know through the Rotary Foundation, I can make an impact and leave a legacy of doing good in the world. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, John. And we have one more major donor to recognize. VK Raju, major donor level 2. This is for those who have given $25,000 or more. VK?
I'm glad to be here with you, all of you.
Wonderful.
And I don't think I can need to answer anymore what the Rotarians have done all these years. And I worked with them for almost 38 years in India about childhood blindness. And I would like to connect with all of you later. If we can do the childhood blindness is the most, if you can relieve the children in time. And let me show, I wanted to show is this is more important than anything else. I wear this all the time. The polio flower, our little flower. The people always ask me when I travel, what is it? Well, I'll tell them Rotarian. And still, we don't do enough about, telling the people about Rotary clubs. Anyway, I want only one statement I want to make it. The World Bank 15 years ago said, the most cost-effective health intervention in the world is giving vision to children because 80% of our learning is through vision. So the Rotarians have done incredible all these years in India and other countries. So one of my friends a few years ago asked me to join. So I joined. I'm very glad to be here with you all. I always think yesterday is a canceled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Today is the cash. I'm glad to meet you all. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you so much. So let's give all of our major donors a wonderful virtual applause. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Next we're going to move on to our new Bequest Society members. Individuals or couples who notify the Rotary Foundation of their commitment to include future gifts to the endowment of $10,000 or more in their estate plans. Bequest Society Level 2 is for those who commit $25,000 or more. I'd like to now welcome William Pete Slicer.
Pete, I know you're out there. I let you in.
There we go.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Great. This is John Slicer, Pete's son. Pete is listening, but he wishes to remain silent at this time, but he is very happy to be one of the new bequest donors. Thank you all very much.
Wonderful. We're glad to have you both on the call. Bequest Society Level 3 is for those who commit $50,000 or more in their estate plan. Past District Governor Terry Mathias. And I think Terry is going to pass on this since he spoke earlier. But thank you so much. And thank you to all of our wonderful new donors. Just again, a virtual thank you to everyone and for your commitment to the Rotary Foundation. I am always humbled and inspired when I hear of all the reasons why Rotarians support your Rotary Foundation. Lastly, I would like to just say a special thank you to your district leadership. They made a commitment 2 years ago to grow understanding and awareness of the Rotary Foundation in the district. Today is very self-evident of your work. At this time, I would like to invite back Stephanie Urchik to say just a few words.
Thank you, Lori. Yes, I just wanted to jump in to offer again my congratulations and my thanks to Terry and Sherry and Robert and your wife and John and VK and Pete, because you've made the incredible decision to help support doing good in the world. And like Lori, when I listen to all of the reasons that you decide to contribute to the Rotary Foundation, it all boils down to you all want that feeling good. That good feeling, and I call that psychic income. That's what we get when we donate to the Rotary Foundation and do amazing things. So I have learned more in Rotary service and in working for the foundation than I have ever learned in a classroom. And what I get is psychic income. So just like you, I will always be a supporter of our Rotary Foundation. Thank you very much for being part of this great family of givers.
Thank you very much, Stephanie, for all your words of encouragement. And also, we're very grateful that you're here with us today for this celebration. Now, I would like to turn the program over to Paul Harris Society Chair, Jordan Feathers.
Good evening. And it's a pleasure to be here with you all tonight. I'm very honored to be the Paul Harris Society Chair for District 7545. And I believe Sean also has a couple of slides. Thank you, Sean. First, the Paul Harris Society, for those that don't know, is those who pledge $1,000 or more per year, and the money can be donated to either the Rotary Foundation, Polio Plus, or an approved grant. Again, that is a pledge, and those that have qualified in the last Rotary year are, well, that's me. Thanks, Sean. Billy Atkins from the Cheat Lake Clinic, John Coe from Spencer, Sheila Coe from the Spencer Club, Assistant Governor Jeff DeCivio from the Princeton Club, past District Governor Thomas A. Greenstreet III from the Lewisburg Club, Robert Hagedorn from Wheeling, Indira and Ranjit Majumdar from Morgantown, past District Governor Terry Mathias from Charleston Vandalia, DGN Dan McCarthy from Beckley, past District Governor Herb McClarty from Peterstown, immediate past District Governor Sherry Messenger from Barbersville, past District Governor John Powell III from South Charleston, past District Governor David Racy from Morgantown, Dr. Raju, past District Governor David Riggleman from Bridgeport, Lee Ross from Princeton, District Governor Sean Sawyer from Fairmont, Assistant Governor Michael Smith from Canyon Rim, and Jane Stout from our Princeton Club. So thank you all for living up to your pledge of last year. And we also have 4 new Paul Harris Society members as of this Rotary year. And they are Bonnie Branchioli from the Mount State E Club. Our newest member is Tina Marie Cunningham from the Weston Club. Myself, I couldn't be the Paul Harris Society Chair without stepping up to the plate. So thank you, Sean, for pushing me that direction. It was well worth it. And also our First Lady of the District, Julie Sawyer of the Kingwood Club. So thank everybody for your donations. And we've already heard of the wonderful things that the foundation money goes to. So it's fantastic to be a part of this with you all. And now I'd like to turn it over to someone we've already heard from tonight, our District Rotary Foundation Chair and past District Governor, Terry Mathias.
Thanks, Jordan. And again, I'd like to just echo my thanks for everybody that we've honored tonight and everybody that supports the Rotary Foundation in such a tremendous way. What I'd like to do before we close this evening is talk a little bit about what we did last year with our district grant money. So again, I think Sean has a couple slides to share with us to just kind of show you what we were able to do with the foundation in our state. So last year, just for those of you, I know a lot of you did get district grants for your clubs. Last year, we gave out over $36,000 in district grant money, and some of it went to education and literacy in the areas of scholarships, dictionaries, books to elementary students. And then the other area of focus that you guys support a lot is maternal and child health. I know a lot of you did packing meals for Rise Against Hunger, as well as various backpack programs in your neighborhoods, bleeding control centers in schools, and air conditioning to women's recovery centers. So a lot of our grants that we do here in the state of West Virginia are those 2 areas of focus, education and literacy and maternal and child health. And that's great that we're helping the people in our state in that way. And then also last year, a lot of you came on board quickly toward the end of the year to provide COVID-19 relief, primarily in the area of feeding people. And some of you were able to get district grant money last year to do that. And I know we just passed our deadline for district grants for the first cycle this year. And some of you this year only are actually going to be able to get reimbursed for some of the COVID work you did last year, but were unable to get reimbursed last year. So we do want to appreciate all of you that have worked so hard in your local communities to make a difference. That's a matching grant. So that means we spent at least $73,000, making an impact through our grant program here in West Virginia, potentially more than that. So I do want to give all the clubs kudos for all the work that you've done. Now I want to move on and briefly talk about an incoming global grant. So an incoming global grant is something we can do to make a bigger impact in our state. And I'm in the process of working on an incoming global grant. If you've heard me talk at all, you've heard me talk about this grant, but I'm just going to keep singing the song until everybody wants to jump on board and also sponsor an incoming global grant. This comes from the global grant side of our DDF funds. And during my year as district governor, we were able to identify a need in this state, in many counties, to provide dental care to children who were not receiving any. So the strategy that we developed here in West Virginia was to develop a partnership with Marshall Oral Health and the Wayne County Board of Education to provide dental care to 2 initial locations in March of 2020. Well, if you were paying attention, that didn't happen because of COVID-19, unfortunately. So we're in a holding pattern right now, but we're hoping that maybe if not the fall, the spring, we can start this again. We've identified 2 schools in Wayne County, and basically Rotary provides the funding, the volunteers. Marshall provides the dental residents and the hygienists that actually provide the care, and Wayne County provides the students that we're going to serve. Our partner for this project is the Rotary Club of Chandigarh in Northern India, whom I spent a week with when I was doing my NID in India back in 2018. They signed on as our international partner. And then Sean, if you want to move to the next slide, because I want to show you the leverage of the Rotary Foundation. So this slide just shows you the leverage. So we took $19,000 from our district designated funds. That gets matched dollar for dollar. So now we're up to $38,000. The Rotary Club of Chandigarh gave us $10,000. So now we're up to $48,000. And then the Rotary Foundation provided a match at that time to their donation. So that brought us to $53,000. So doing an incoming global grant, we were able to take $19,000, leverage that to $53,000, and to provide a setup where we can provide ongoing dental care to children in our state who aren't receiving it. We're starting with Wayne County, but a lot of the people that we talk with, more Marshall Health, think that this will go into many more counties in the future. So we're excited about this. Unfortunately, COVID has kind of put it on hold, but we're looking forward to moving this forward. If any of you have any project that I've encouraged you now for the last 2 years to think big in your communities, if you can come up with a grant, a project that's going to spend at least $30,000, please reach out to me and we'll talk about how we can start developing an incoming global grant, because that's the way we can really leverage the foundation to make a difference here in the state of West Virginia. Next slide, please. Hold on, internet. Okay. So in closing, before I let you go, since I am the DRFC, I need to encourage you to make sure you support this wonderful foundation that we talked about tonight. If you're not familiar with Rotary Direct, it's a way that you can give automatically. It's you set up a one-time deduction and you never have to worry about it again. Sign into myrotary.org. I hope you have one of those accounts. If not, you have to set one up. Then you just hover over Rotary Foundation, click on Give, fill out the form, make it a recurring contribution, and set it and forget it. If you give the minimum, which is $10 a month, you become a sustaining member, and you can choose whatever amount you want to give. If you give to the annual fund, that comes back to our district in 3 years. You can give to polio, you can give to an area of focus, wherever your passion is, there's a way for you to give through the Rotary Foundation. So I would encourage you to think about what you're currently giving, and if you can, work to increase it in the coming years so that we can make a bigger impact in West Virginia as well as the rest of the world. Again, I want to thank you for the way you've supported the foundation, and I look for us to do bigger and better things here in West Virginia. Before we go, I do want to recognize a club who just a few months ago became 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club, and that is the Rotary Club of Peterstown. And I believe we do have a couple people on the call tonight from the Rotary Club of Peterstown. So we do want to thank you that you made that big step to become a 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club. That's a wonderful thing. There's a lot of our clubs are already reached that status, but we hope more will reach that in the future. So again, thanks to all of you who jumped on the call tonight. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you being here. Thank you to Stephanie and Nancy and Lori to being with us tonight and helping us out. And we hope that all of you have a wonderful evening tonight. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Hey, you did that. 8.5 minutes.
Good job, Sean.
Great job, Sean and team.
Thank you, brothers, sisters of Rotary. How are you, Flamingos?
Flamingo power.
I see you there.
Power.
North Carolina well represented tonight.
Whoop, whoop.
We had Beth from South Carolina too.
I saw
Yeah.
that. I saw her comment.
Yeah, no, and I had some of my folks joining from our district because this is the way that we're gonna do the same kind of thing. That would be my dog.
Yeah.
So
You can always accept that faux pas with the video. By June the 30th, I will have got this down. So maybe they'll make me the district technology chair when I'm PDG. Herb, you keep that in mind for me, okay? I appreciate it. Hey, thank you all for being here. Really, I appreciate everything the team did to make this happen. I appreciate them tolerating me as they do. I am blessed to be surrounded with fantastic people in this district, and they make my life a lot easier in a lot of different ways. So, especially Terry and the whole foundation crew, including Herb and Jordan and Dave Cavender, and I'm sure I'll forget somebody, so I probably should stop naming names. But Harry Grant, it's good to see you, sir. Hope you're enjoying retirement. It looks like Principal Cartwright has gone out to discipline some children somewhere in the neighborhood. It's good to see the shoemates. Hello, shoemates. Mr. Stoddard, good to see you, sir. Deb, my DCO, my lifesaver. You got everybody here tonight. Thank you, dear. And several illustrious AGs, my district treasurer that makes Zoom happen because he pays for my subscription. Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, Sean.
No problem. So Sean, I just want to point out that my roommate in India is on the line.
Really?
Yeah, Jenny. Yeah, Jenny Jasper. Yeah.
Hi,
no,
John.
Together for a very long time.
I'll be darned. We have several connections, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Wait till Julie and I retire down there to Oak Island with you, and then you can we'll tell all kinds of stories about Rotary.
I know, and Dira and Ranjit from your district as well.
Yep.
So yeah. So no, Jenny and I are bonded for life.
For life.
For life.
Well, I'm glad everybody made it. I hope that went well. I meant what I said, not about Stephanie necessarily, but definitely what I said about the foundation. Seems like coming up through the ranks, that and vocational service seem to be the parts that are most either overlooked or taken for granted.
It is.
I'm glad that we were blessed in our zone paired since we were NDs to be trained very well, so that things that were new for a lot of people and our counterparts were remedial for us. And like, love, or hate the Flamingos, we are a tight group, and we are dedicated to the cause. So I appreciate you all taking the time to come share this with us.
Well, we're dedicated to each other.
That's right. If I can do anything for any of you, you just let me know. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, same. All right.
Thanks, Sean. We'll see you. Great
Okay,
job.
everyone. Take care. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
Yep.